than he has at any other spot, this season with the Titans. And so things like that, you need to grow as a quarterback to navigate through things like getting balls batted at the line of scrimmage, playing under center.
Well done. Tim Hasselbeck is on with Chasing Big Joe. I mean, Tim, it's so good to hear your voice.
I mean, listen, I know that you're happy for like the zinger I try to give you on the way out of the segment.
I think it's the greatest. I'm so excited to have you on here. I actually got a serious question for once. If you had 15 minutes with Cam Ward today, what would you tell him about approaching the first preseason game?
I think what I would tell him, Joe, is that nobody cares as much as he cares about it. And the reason I say that is, in my role at ESPN, I've covered a lot of preseason games because we cover them in many respects the way we do, at least in my role, the regular season games. And I remember as a player, I put so much into it. Like, to me, that was the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that it is for Cam, who's number one overall, but like for me, it was like my career was a single pass. And that's just not the case. It's not the case to define what kind of rookie season he's going to have or career he's going to have, or define the kind of player he is. But because it's like your first action as a kid, like you grow up and you're like, hey, I want to be a pro player. And you work so hard through high school and college with this like goal many times of to go play in the National Football League. And that first time out, I think you can make it way bigger than it needs to be, when the reality is you're not really game planning. Just go out there, have fun, and play football, because that's what you're doing. I think I would give that advice to any rookie playing in their first NFL game, even in the preseason.
How much do you want to see him, or do we need to see him Saturday against Tampa Bay?
So I think it's important to play and develop and get reps, time on task at the hardest position in sports. So it's one of the things I've been really strong about in terms of, look, Trey Lance, I think, has struggled because he played very little football from the time he left high school to the time he got drafted by the Niners. And I think there are other quarterbacks that you can look at them and say, look, he hasn't played a ton of football. Anthony Richardson, like from the time he left high school to the time he ends up with the Colts, like there's not a lot of time on task. Cam Ward's going to leave, has left college basically with nearly 2,500 pass attempts. He has got a lot of time on task, much like Brock Purdy comes out with, 45 starts or whatever it was, in college. He had time on task. So I actually think it's less important for somebody like Cam Ward because of how much he's played in college. He's a little bit of an outlier with some of these young quarterbacks that we've seen come out in recent years. But I would say that I would want to see him for a minimum of 2 series. But I also think that it would be okay to play him a half. Like I think that in that range would be totally acceptable.
I agree with that. Tim Hasselbeck has joined us on the Chasing Big Joe show. Tim, in college, my defensive line coach was like my second dad. I mean, he yelled at me, he screamed at me, but he loved on me. It was great. I didn't really pay attention to the defensive coordinator because he was a linebacker coach. Where I'm going with this is Cam Ward's got a quarterback coach. He's got an offensive coordinator. He's got a head coach. It's all involved on the offensive side of the ball. Is that too much for a quarterback? Or should Cam gravitate towards his quarterback coach or towards the OC? What would you do? Because I think that's a lot of voices in a young guy's head.
Hey, so this is really interesting. I feel like I'm living it over here at Ensworth, okay? So my son is a starting quarterback. So, I'm the head coach. Matthew's the offensive coordinator. So, he clearly knows way more than me. He played much longer and much better. And then our quarterback coach is Alex Hornibrook, who started 30 at Wisconsin. So I'm not sure who Taylor, my son, I'm not sure who he listens to. Probably not me. I need to get that figured out. Here's what I would say, and I think this is what I would say about Cam, and I think just listening to him answer questions, I feel like he's doing this. I feel like he's a sponge. I feel like he's taking it all in. And I think that if you're smart enough, you can do that. And it doesn't mean that everything that you take in, has the same amount of weight and and you identify with it the same exact way. And so I think what I'm saying there is this. I think there's a lot of quarterback knowledge on the coaching staff with the Titans. Really do. And so I think that as a young player who's also been coached by other good, offensive coaches and quarterback coaches, absorb it, take it in, understand what works for you, what you relate to. And I think you sort through and do the best you can with all of that. Like, he clearly is a hard worker. He clearly is somebody that's got a passion for football and a desire to be really good. I think ultimately, just make sure you don't get bogged down by all the information, chasing it all and having the same weight on every single coaching point.
He is ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck and the head coach of the Innsworth Tigers. We'll have more with Tim coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. The Chasing Big Joe show presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, and continuing our conversation with Tim Hasselbeck, head coach at Innsworth and ESPN NFL analyst. We've talked a lot about the quarterback, and one thing that I have said pretty much since he was drafted was Brian Callahan's going to be evaluated less on the win total and more on the development of Cameron Ward. Would you agree with that?
I do. I totally agree with that. Typically speaking, when a quarterback is playing well, the head coach doesn't get fired. Yeah, I mean, it's, and sometimes it's just, the progress that somebody sees, in a quarterback. So that's why the pick is so important. When you make it, you do have to believe in the guy, because in many ways, as a head coach, you're attaching yourself completely, to that quarterback. And if you think about the example of, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, like that typically does not happen. You don't draft Trey Lance with a 3rd overall pick, him not work out, and still, get credit for Brock Purdy. So, I think that I think you have to truly believe in somebody, and I think that it seemed like there was very strong conviction that Cam was the right guy to try to build around for the Titans.
Well, one thing, Tim, that we've seen for years. I mean, this playing the position, that sometime a young quarterback's best friend is a tight end, and the Titans have struggled in that department. Chigakonkwo has shown flashes, but I don't think he's truly run away with the position. Now they draft Gunnar Helm out of Texas, who I really, really like, and he has had a really good camp. How important could he be to Cam Ward in his rookie year?
Look, I think it's huge. I think talent around the position, period, is a big deal. But certainly, when you have, a talented tight end, somebody that can work the middle of the field, the ball's not in the air as long as it is when you start traveling outside the numbers, because of where the hash marks are in pro football. It's a little bit different than playing in college football, where you basically are playing in the middle of the field, which makes throwing in between the hashes or in between the numbers, more important. So, look, I think it's easy to just look around the league and find, these quarterbacks that have had a lot of sustained success. Oftentimes there's somebody, whether it's a tight end or not, but oftentimes it is a tight end because of just how you line up, where there's just a trust factor, a feel, a connection, that helps. Like when things aren't going well, or it's a 3rd and 4, or 3rd and 7, you got to have it, where the quarterback ends up looking.
Talking to Tim Hasselbeck on the Chase and Big Joe show. You talked about the dynamic, Tim, between you and your brother. As a head coach, I mean, do you make suggestions to Matthew? Do you let him go? How does this work? I'm always fascinated by this.
Yeah. So I didn't know how I would be. I thought I would kind of be, a control freak and like, why did you call that? Like, let's do that. And fortunately I wasn't, and really I kind of just stay out of the way, for him, which is good. So probably when I do suggest something or say something, he's probably a little bit more receptive to it. And so, look, I grew up, and Matthew and I, we shared a room, right? So we were best men in each other's weddings. We had been teammates before. And so I think our dynamic has actually been very easy, and doesn't mean we haven't had disagreements, but it's been pretty easy. I think it's interesting, like, Brian Callahan, Bill Callahan dynamic, where it's like, hey man, like before you could ever do anything, like I was doing things for you. So if I tell you that this is how we're going to block power this week, like you're just going to take my advice.
Oh, there you go. Then now I guess like a 4th and 1 or a fake punt. Are you on that? Because some coaches are, head coaches are, head coaches don't want to know.
So I am on that. And I'm watching, I don't know if you guys watched the series quarterback, this series, but I just got through the episode where Dan Campbell and the Lions were playing the Packers, and he basically was like, we're going for it every 4th down. I don't know that I'm ever going to take that approach, but yeah, like it's I do think the dynamic of making sure that you trust the people that you work with,
right,
is probably the most important thing. And look, I think that applies. I mean, you guys know this. Like, I think it applies in what you're doing. I think it applies in a lot of businesses where it's like you have to be able to trust the people that you're working with. And I do. I think that makes I think that makes good football teams, good coaching staffs. I think it leads to success. And I think there's a level of unselfishness when that stuff happens.
Oh, I totally agree. We stole a line from you that you told us probably 12, 13 years ago about playing quarterback in the National Football League. If you're not a starter and you're a journeyman, you said, keep playing till all 32 teams tell you no. Teddy Bridgewater is back with Tampa Bay, signed today. People are like, oh, what in the world? I mean, keep playing, right? Until they tell you to hit the road.
Yeah, I think it's a great, topic this time of year. A lot of people kind of gripe about these preseason games and, it's a bunch of backups and there aren't the starters. And, there's a saying that, preseason games don't count, which is true. But the thing I can tell you is they matter. And they matter to guys that are fighting for a career. And who knows, might be somebody that turns into having an amazing NFL career as a starter. I mean, there are guys like, Jake Delhomme that had taken teams to a Super Bowl, Kurt Warner for that matter. So they matter. And, that, if you're crediting me for that line, I appreciate it. Because, I stole that line from Matt Kavanaugh. So typically what I do, I don't know, I should be careful now that I work at a school. I usually credit somebody the first time I use it, and then after that, I just steal it and it's mine. So I got cut by the Baltimore Ravens, and it was the second team that I had been cut by. It was my rookie year. And like a lot of guys that are going to face this over the next, few weeks, I thought, what am I doing? How long? I don't want to be that 37-year-old, minor leaguer that is never going to make it, I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, I wasn't ready to be done playing football. And, Matt Kavanaugh had been a teammate of my father's at the New England Patriots. And he, for the most part, was a backup quarterback throughout his career. And he's like, look, we're going to cut you tomorrow. On Hard Knocks, by the way. So that just to add a little sting to the getting cut. And he's like, look, my advice to you is play till all 32 teams tell you can't. And that just stuck with me because it was there's an embarrassment to being cut. There's doubt that's created when you get cut. And I think that, having a coach that's look, just because this isn't the fit for you here doesn't mean that somewhere else can't be your landing spot. And I appreciated that. And it's definitely something that stuck with me throughout my career, and hopefully other guys, take a similar approach.
Tim Hasselbeck is with us. There's obviously a lot of discussion of how long Cam's going to play in the first preseason game. And then obviously the other two. To me, I want to see the offensive line, no matter who the quarterback is, play really through the first half. I mean, go into halftime and come back out, because that unit needs a lot of work.
Yeah, and you have new guys, right? It's been nearly a full overhaul, of guys. And so, I think when you do that, you want to see people, play together. And, the other thing you may want to do is say, okay, we may play different combinations. We may want to see, somebody play in an environment, next to someone that we haven't given them a ton of reps next to. So I think all of those things, when you look at the roster construction, that has to exist in the NFL now, you're not dressing 10 linemen, every NFL Sunday. You're not doing that just because of, roster constraints. So because of that, you say, okay, well, this guy's a swing tackle. This guy, look, he can play center in a certain environment. So I think it's a good point, Chase, just when you talk about guys playing next to one another because of how that unit, has to be in sync. So, I know there are a lot of coaches, who's probably my favorite coach of all time. He doesn't play guys much in the preseason. So it's hard for me to say that, that's a bad model. At the same time, you only get a few of these opportunities to see how ready you are, when you do start counting the games. And I don't think it's a bad thing to get guys ready.
I'm with you, Tim. One more question for me here. We have this debate all the time. Who in your mind, and you cannot pick your brother, do you think is the greatest NFL quarterback of all time? Now, don't factor in Super Bowls, nothing else, but simply the greatest quarterback of all time. Mechanics, the way he played the game, the way he threw the football. Who's number one for you?
For the longest time, I think I'd have said John Elway. Like that would have been the one for me. That era, the arm strength, like he was a pocket passer, but he could create. So, like early on for me was Elway. Now I will tell you, and this will be a very unpopular, opinion, for a lot of people, but I was also in the league at the time that Brett Favre was playing and playing at a really high level. And he would do things that other guys couldn't do. And so I always look at it through a lens, Joe, of when your peers, when other people are like, man, that's different. Like that sticks out to me. Like I don't have a musical bone in my body, but I'm sure there's some like insane guitarist, in some band.
Yeah.
And that every other guy in a band is like, yeah, but that guy's different, right? Like that guy's uncommon. When I was in the NFL as a player, Brett Favre was the guy that was uncommon.
Love it.
That's a pretty good answer.
Love
actually.
that.
Very good answer. Tim, we're excited about doing this every week and obviously keeping up with Innsworth and URL season. So looking forward to Tuesdays at 1 with you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, when are you guys coming? Like, that's what, like, I'll reserve the parking, the spots. We'll get those in I know Joe is going to want like a sideline pass,
Yep.
a lot of that stuff, but like you guys, like, when are you going to be here?
You let us know. We're there.
When's your next scrimmage?
Friday night, Gallatin at Innsworth.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
if I don't see you there, you just let me know. Like, well, just like Jerry Glanville used to leave tickets for Elvis. I'm leaving tickets for you,
Yes.
you guys, August 22nd when Whitehaven comes to Innsworth.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Thanks, Tim. We'll talk next week.
All right, fellas. Good to be on with you. See you.
Absolutely. Tim Hasselbeck joining us on the program, and he will be a part of our show every Tuesday at 1:00. And, obviously cool that he's getting to coach with his brother and was coaching with his late father who just passed away in April.
Yeah.
As well. And coaching his son. I mean, that's got to be really cool.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
So excited to have Tim on with us every week. Coming up next, we'll reset our question of the day. The 12 o'clock hour got a little wonky there, but we will reset that and also talk about the Netflix doc that's out now on the SEC. Do that coming up here on Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. And we're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
Hey guys, Big Joe here. For the last 2 years, we've been on a mental health mission on the Chase and Big Joe show. We tell you that if you are struggling, please talk to someone. As I've said, talking to someone saved my life. And if you're in that dark place, I want you to know that help is around the corner. I am so excited. We have partnered with Unity Psychiatric Care, a wonderful place here in Middle Tennessee for you to get well. And I'm telling you, it works. Here's all you got to do. Just go to the GameNashville.com, our website, click on the Chase and Big Joe show, and there'll be a link to Unity Psychiatric Care there on the page. Just click on it, and all the information you need is right there. So many have reached out to us in these last 2 years, and now we have a partner that cares about you. And listen, you do not have to go through it alone. You can call as well, 1-888-508-8002. That is 1-888-508-8002, or simply go again to the GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe tab, and you'll see all the information you need for Unity Psychiatric Care information. Guys, help is just around the corner. And listen, you do not have to go through this alone.
Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Appreciate Tim Hasselbeck for joining us in the last segment. So our question of the day, your favorite football movie or documentary of all time in honor of the Netflix doc SEC. It's on the SEC Any Given Saturday. We saw the first episode at SEC Media Days, and it was awesome.
Man,
And-
it gets you right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because the first person you saw is Brian Kelly.
I know.
We're like, oh, God.
Well, like that was my favorite part is they featured probably one of the most hated people in football.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you felt watching it. I walked away from it and I hated him even more.
That was the thing. It's like
I don't hate the person. Like it's the coach.
Yeah, he's got very likable guys. I mean, Nussmeier's good.
Oh, yeah.
The linebacker, was it Wes Weeks or Whit
Yeah,
Weeks or whatever?
yeah.
I mean, those are likable, lovable guys. But I mean, he is just so unlikable, right? I mean, but then they did South Carolina about Beamer getting ready and their quarterback, Lenore Sellers, what he's going through. Then they showed Pavia. They showed
because there's an episode that's going to feature Pavia.
And so we talked to the producer of the SEC documentary, and they had all the behind the scenes versus Alabama. And I said, you landed in a pot of gold. He's like, yeah, right. We had no idea. That's the beauty about these documentaries. You don't know what's going to happen. So they were behind the scenes all week with Vanderbilt when they beat Alabama. Then after the game, I said, what was that like? He was like, it was absolutely amazing being involved with Vanderbilt immediately after they beat Alabama. And we said, did you partake in taking the goalpost downtown? I said, nah, I would love to have done that, though. It's just really cool. So that's where we got the question today. What's your favorite football movie or documentary about the game of football that just hits you right in the stomach and the heart every time? 615-737-1025. Any more come to mind?
Yeah, Hair Metal Henry. Thanks, Henry, taking a shot at me probably. Little Giants, anytime a Cowboy team loses, it's a great movie. There were several from earlier. Invincible was pretty good.
Great one.
Remember the Titans gets a big vote. 1743 says Invincible and also The Longest Yard. Which one? The original or the
Burt Reynolds?
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good.
The Adam Sandler one wasn't bad, and Burt Reynolds is in it. And he's wearing the 22 and stuff, and it had a ton of cameos because
That's what he does.
Yeah, but 3795, I love The Replacements. Jeff from Nebraska says that I love The Replacements. That movie makes me laugh out loud every time I watch it.
That one with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman.
That's Shane Falco.
You know one I did not like? Any Given Sunday. The Al Pacino one.
I like Any Given Sunday. I mean, it's got some votes as being I like it, but it's not my favorite one.
I think, and Oliver Stone wrote it direct. I love big Oliver Stone. I just think it went over the top with that a little bit. But All the Right Moves, Tom Cruise, because that was when I was in high school and everybody's getting recruited. And it's just a really, really good movie all the way through. So All the Right Moves. I was like, if I ever met Tom Cruise, I would talk the entire time about All the Right Moves.
Here's a good one. Owen from Nashville says, favorite movie, Friday Night Lights. Docu-series, the 30 for 30, called The Pony Excess on SMU.
Yes. Our good friend David Beauclair was the editor of the SMU school newspaper during that time. He's in the documentary as well. That's one of my favorite lines is like, Eric Dickerson's driving that brand new Cadillac. Like, where'd you get that? He's like, that's my grandma's car. And they got a brand new Cadillac. Everybody knew what was going on.
9013 says the one that they have put is the first movie that I can remember that made me cry. Brian's Song.
Oh yeah,
like just a great movie.
I mean, that's the one with Bernie Casey and James Caan.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, man, when he's dying there towards the end, and he's in the hospital bed, and Gail Sayers knows it's time. It gets you every time, man.
Nevada Josh says Varsity Blues and Friday Night Lights. Dylan and Antioch, the best that never was, 30 for 30. Best that never was, yeah.
Is that Marcus Dupree?
I think so.
Who's Texas back? Let us know. The Marcus Dupree one was good. Guy of Mississippi goes to Oklahoma and just doesn't work out for him in Oklahoma. But he was a great running back at that time.
Tommy says We Are Marshall.
Who's that?
We Are Marshall.
Wow.
with Matthew McConaughey, your buddy.
Yeah. So, not to make it about myself, which I like to do all the time. My suite mate in junior college, his father, and he's a Father Ryan graduate too, Dr. Crane. Vince Corelli graduated in '86. His dad was the offensive line coach on the Marshall team that crashed and died. So he was only 2 years old when his father passed away. So he went off to play at Chattanooga, and then in 1989, Chattanooga played Marshall in Marshall, and that was like a big national story as Vince Corelli went back up to play where his dad was coaching when he passed away. But Vince was a 1986 Father Ryan grad. Love the Father Ryan
Go
grads.
Irish.
Dylan and Antioch said yes, Marcus Dupree.
Marcus Dupree. Okay. Dr. Crane, I had a clip for you. I'm sorry. What it's all right. This is Diego Pavia from the new SEC Any Given Saturday.
Diego Pavia, quarterback, Vanderbilt, gonna be the best ever to walk the earth. When I first got here, they told me I wasn't able to work out at 3 a.m. I would sneak in the weight room, then I would like jam it open, broke the door in a sense, and it would never really close, and I would lift. You tell me I can't do it, I'll do it right in front of your face. Sometimes people won't understand that I'm really just wired different.
I love that.
I can't wait for that one. To
Love
watch that
it.
one.
I'm going to do it right in front of your face. You think I can't do that? Love it, man.
I will say Netflix has had some pretty good docs come out lately. They got the WWE one that I've been watching, Unreal, that goes behind the scenes, and then now the SEC.
That's really cool.
And the Drive to Survive, the F1. They did the NASCAR one. That's been really good. So
It's done a good job, man. I'm telling you, we were hooked on the SEC one.
And you know what we call these? Just get us to football. Just get us in. Hard Knocks starts tonight, which I don't know if I really.
How good is this SEC documentary? You didn't fall asleep.
No, I didn't.
That's how I tell you how things are good.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really tired, and I almost did, but no, I did not.
I was proud of you, man.
And we were sitting over with the SEC Network people that were all in it. So
Yeah,
that was kind of fun.
It was very cool. It's like, how are we here?
615-737-1025. Our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Jack wants to weigh in on our question of the day. Jack, what's up?
How you fellas doing?
Fantastic.
My favorite 2 theatrical movies would, of course, be Remember the Titans. Also, because I'm old enough to remember when the world was like that. And thank God it's not like that anymore. And then the Al Pacino movie.
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, with Steamin' Willie Beeman.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 favorite theatrical movies. My favorite football documentary is the one about Archie and his boys.
That's a good one.
Oh, that is a good one.
Because I remember Archie when he was in college and setting the world on fire at Mississippi. And that poor man stood in there and just stayed and stayed and stayed with the Saints to raise his family and all the rest of it. And he was just robbed.
Well, Jack, what I liked about that one is that we know Eli, we know Peyton, we know Cooper, we know that story. But where Archie Manning came from, did his dad commit suicide when he was in high school or something? I mean, Archie Manning persevered through some of the worst tragedies that a teenage boy could ever go through. And look at it. I think Archie Manning's a damn good man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to accomplish what he accomplished, regardless, to raise the sons he's raised, maybe now fixing to have a grandson join the flock.
Right.
And that's as humbling and unaffected a man as you're ever going to meet. It's
amen.
It's fabulous.
Amen.
Thank you for the call, Jack. Appreciate it.
Sure.
615-737-1025. We'll continue to take those throughout the rest of the show here on Chasing Big Joe. Again, we like to throw out a question of the day every day that kind of keeps us all interactive as we go along through these 3 hours. But coming up next, what day is it?
Yes.
And celebrity birthdays. We will do that coming up here on Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday, noon to 3, our new hours. DVD will be coming up at 3 o'clock. But coming up next, Gentry Estes, columnist for the Tennessean. We'll talk some Titans and other things with him. But right now, it is time. We always end the second hour. It was the end of our show, but now we end the second hour with What Day Is It? And Celebrity Birthdays. It's presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc. Use their electrical division for installations, inspections, upgrades, and more. JarrettCompaniesInc.com, above and beyond industry standards. Dr. Crane.
All right. First on the list, we have Green Peppers Day. So if you like green peppers, I hear they're good for your digestive system.
Oh, well, that's a good tidbit.
Yeah, that's always good. International Traffic Light Day. So you can get traffic lights everywhere. It's international.
Hey, and I can tell you on my way in this morning, check the mall on Murfreesboro Road. They are working. So,
are they really?
They are?
Yeah, made sure to check them out for you.
Is the one across from the Donaldson YMCA working? If not, I'd like to chop that light down. I don't think I've ever stopped at that light. I'm telling you right now.
Are we talking about traffic lights?
Yes.
Oh,
worst
okay.
red light. What do you think I'm talking about?
I
My
didn't
neighbor?
know.
I think it's the worst red light in the city.
Okay. Next one is National Night Out. You kind of want your traffic lights to work when you're doing the night out thing. National Oyster Day. I'll pass on that.
Pass.
Yep. Work Like a Dog Day is today. I think we've all had our fair share of that.
You two have.
And last but not least, National Underwear Day. So, yeah. Make sure you wear
You know who doesn't wear underwear? Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. How does he get away with
Donald Duck doesn't either.
Donald Duck. See, that's just what I mean. It's kid shows, and you're setting a precedent.
Bugs Bunny's naked.
Bugs Bunny is naked. Yep. So we got right there 3 people.
Porky, does he wear pants? I think he does, actually.
If he does, Nick's going to kill him.
that? Fair.
Porky's next.
Yep. Porky's next. National Night Out. What is that? The crime night thing? Well,
I think so.
I actually think that is. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually think that
it's
is
a
something.
police officer hugging a kid. So
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. Let's do this. America's favorite segment. You have to get these birthdays within 2 years. Our first birthday is Marsha, actress Maureen McCormick from the Brady Bunch. How old is she today?
67.
72.
69.
Nice.
Chasers up 1-0.
1-0.
1-0. Director James Gunn. He's doing the latest Superman movie. James Gunn. Not to be confused with Jamie Gunn.
56.
57.
59. Tied at 1.
Damn you and your Price is Right.
Actor Jesse Williams. Was he in what's the one TV show based in Seattle? It's a hospital drama. My mind's gone. It's been on the air. It's been on the air for like 25 years. It's been forever.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. God almighty.
54.
58.
45. On down here, some more people. How are we doing, Nick? Good. Lead guitar player of the Foo Fighters, Pat Smear.
56.
57.
66. Country fiddler Mark O'Connor.
72.
77.
64. Actor Jonathan Silverman was on the TV show The Single Guy back in the day.
65.
68.
59. Country singer, and I think she's fantastic, Terry Clark.
Oh, yeah. 58.
54.
57. Chase up 2-1. Whit Sellers, the drummer, the very popular group Old Dominion. How old is Whit Sellers?
47.
39.
47 exactly. Chaser knows his new country.
I like Old Dominion.
Let's see here. Heisman Trophy winner Gary Beban from UCLA. Beban, B-E-B-A-N or Beban. Gary Beban.
83.
88.
79. Patrick Ewing.
64.
69.
63. Chase up 5-1. Former Toronto Blue Jay, and I think he played for Seattle for a while. John Olerud. Remember, he wore the batting helmet by playing first base?
Yeah.
John Olerud.
Willie would know this. 58.
63, excuse me.
What'd you start to say?
No, my mic, I turned it off. It was
Doesn't matter.
muscle memory.
57. Chase gets that one. He's up 6-1. Now, Dr. Crane, you got to get this one. I'm going to let Dr. Crane go first on this one, all right? Just switch it up. Mark Mulder, former Cardinals pitcher. You love the Cardinals. Let you go first this time.
I'm going to go with 58.
It's pretty good. I'll say 57.
48. And finally, Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, NBA player. Is he with the T-Wolves? I think that's who he is. How old is Anthony Edwards? Not Goose from Top Gun, but the other Anthony Edwards.
25.
24.
24, exactly.
That was good.
But Dr. Crane, too little, too late. Chase McCabe takes it away. He wins 6-3 on this new version of Celebrity Birthdays. Don't applaud him for winning, Dr. Crane.
Is presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. And again, we will do this every day at 1:45, the end of the second hour.
Now, that drives me crazy. Like on Jeopardy, when somebody wins, the other two lose, they always clap for him. I'd just walk off. I'm not happy.
I'm going to like shake your hand and congratulate you.
No.
Sportsmanship, man.
It's Jeopardy. I'm glad you won, but I'm out of
Sportsmanship.
I can do that. I'm gone. Like Buddy Ryan running off the field versus Jimmy Johnson.
So if you were a head coach at any level, would you shake the other coach's hand?
Absolutely.
Win or lose?
Yep.
Okay.
I would do that.
I mean, that's what it is.
But on Jeopardy, I'm not doing that. I'm walking off. You won thousands of dollars. You beat me.
What about a rivalry game?
Always shake hands. I'll do that. There are a lot of people. I got no problem with players. Like Cal Vandenbosch never shook hands. He'd run off. And I said, why not? He goes, I don't care about them. True story. He just run off to the locker room. Head coaches, yeah, you do that.
It's fair. Coming up next, we got into this a little bit in the first hour and got interrupted. Mike Vrabel was on Bussin' with the Boys and addressed his firing, the A.J. Brown trade. It was the same stuff we got into with John Robinson last week when he was on our show. We'll compare the two and see kind of how you feel. Plus, the Titans' depth chart is out as I get ready for joint practices with Tampa Bay. It's Chasing Big Joe. 102.5 The Game and Souls for Souls have teamed up for a back-to-school fundraiser, Souls for the 615, to provide new shoes for kids experiencing homelessness in Nashville. Help a child in Middle Tennessee step into the new school year with confidence by donating $20 for a new pair of athletic shoes. For more information and to donate, visit thegamenashville.com/shoes. Souls for the 615 is sponsored by Macero and 12 South. Go check them out for handcrafted cocktails, bold plates, great happy hour, and elevated hospitality. It's 102.5 The Game. Hour number 3, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday as the Titans get ready for joint practices with the Tampa Bay Bucks. We decided we'd talk a little Titans with our man Gentry Estes from the Tennessee, and he joins us now. Gentry, how you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I've got a football movie for you.
Okay.
An underrated football movie that has not been mentioned yet. North Dallas 40.
We got a couple of texts on that one, and I just haven't brought it up yet. That is a good one, though.
That might be the most underrated sports regular movie of all time. That is a legendary movie because it actually showed, Gentry, you know this, the ugly side of professional football.
I call it a game. You call it a business. You call it a bit. Yeah, it was a great movie.
That is a very good one. So the Titans are getting ready. They'll have one more practice here, and then they'll do a joint practice on Thursday with Tampa, and then play the preseason game coming up on Saturday. As you have watched Cam Ward through these first few weeks of training camp, I think we can all agree that, you know, there's been some flashes, but he has looked very much like a rookie and has struggled at times. What is it you think he needs to work on the most in these joint practices in a preseason game against Tampa?
Yeah, and no question, he certainly has looked like a rookie. There's been some good moments, but I think it's decision making. It's just kind of feeling comfortable with what he's seeing. I think it would be that way for pretty much anybody coming into the situation he's in right now, where, you know, I think his head's probably swimming a little bit. I think the Titans have thrown a lot at him in terms of just the looks he's seeing defensively. I think that's been a deliberate thing to try to, you know, allow him to see a lot of different things so he can try to get comfortable and honestly to know how to handle adversity a little bit. That said, it needs to start getting a little better. And I think the joint practices are going to be big for that. Just seeing another defense and being able to adjust on the fly to some of the things that he just quite honestly hasn't been able to yet.
Gentry Estes is with us. Do you feel like, and I asked Tim Hasselbeck this question earlier, but I want to get your opinion since you've been there every day. Do you think that Brian Callahan is going to be judged solely on the development of Cam Ward this year, or do wins and losses matter more to Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker?
I mean, I think Cam Ward's a big part of it. I think he'll be judged on, are they improving and are they able – is this a team that can stop beating itself? If you go back and look at that team last season, I know that the talent wasn't on par with some of the best teams in the AFC. I think we all know that. It's going to be the case again this year. But if you look at how the Titans lost, the way they lost last year, there were so many moments where they started to get something going and the right tackle has a false start or a hold or somebody doesn't line up right. They couldn't allow themselves to get any momentum, and that's a poorly coached team. There's just no other way to say that when you don't look like you don't look like you're prepared to win, and don't look like that you expect to win. And it seemed that got worse over the course of last season. And I think when you see a team that cannot get out of its own way, that's the surest sign to me that the coach would be in trouble. If that stops, if Cam Ward improves over the course of the season, if they feel better about things in week 15 maybe than they did in week 5, I think that'll speak a lot better for Brian Callahan than anything else. But they've got to stop beating themselves. They were just a poorly coached team last year. I mean, and it was the same thing. Special teams breakdown, stupid penalties, bad turnovers in key moments. These are things you can't do. And I know there's been a real focus on that this offseason, but we'll see.
Talking to Gentry Estes from the Tennessee on the Chasing Big Joe show. Gentry, do me a favor. Go over to Mike Organ's desk and take a dump. If you don't mind.
Wow.
And just blame it on the custodial staff and get out of there. That's your assignment for today. No, Gentry, no, we love Mike Organ. Hey, sorry.
Jeez.
So, I love the article. I love the article you wrote after the day I asked Borgonzi and Brinker about, can this team win the Super Bowl? And your article was great because you're basically like, Titans fans, kind of prepare for the worst. And I thought that's a great article to sum up just the road this football team's got, Gentry, to get back to some sort of relevancy. And it's a long road, an uphill road they got to go, and we're not expecting them to win the Super Bowl. That's why I asked the question. But this team's got so many holes, man, and it's tough. You're out there seeing what's going on over there. What chance you got for this team, even winning, I think 6 games would be Callahan's Coach of the Year?
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's something to that. The best chance they've got is for Cam Ward to turn into Jaden Daniels. I mean, that's the best chance they got, for him to put this team on his back, and he makes a difference, because the quarterback, if he's good enough, can do that. But I feel as though, yeah, I mean, obviously, the difference between the Titans this year and the Titans last year is I think they've accepted what you just said, Joe. I think they realize where they're at, and they're honest about it. They realize the challenges ahead, and they're not trying to tell fans what they want to hear. And I really felt like the previous regime was pretty bad about that. We checked every box, things like that. They were really bad about trying to speak excellence into existence that just wasn't going to happen. And I feel like there's a lot more pragmatic approach over there. They're realistic about where they're at right now, which is nice. I appreciate that. I think it's something, in order, before you can fix a problem, you got to admit that you have one, right?
Right.
So I appreciate that approach from Brinker and Borgonzi, but that doesn't mean the season's going to be any easier to watch, guys.
Oh, you're exactly right. Gentry Estes with us from the Tennessee. And Gentry, what's the worst team you've ever covered?
Oh, that's a good one. Are we saying worst team? Those Titans last year were up there now.
That's what I was going to say.
I spent most of my career in the SEC, guys. So maybe the worst season I think I've ever been a part of. I covered the first 3 years of Nick Saban at Alabama. I was a beat writer in Tuscaloosa. And that first year, everyone forgets, they lost to Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a pretty ugly season. You guys have seen enough of Nick Saban to know that he probably wasn't in real good spirits losing the kind of games they lost that year. There were a lot of guys getting run off every week. It seemed like something else was going wrong. That was a pretty rough year. That one jumps out to me. But in terms of just bad, I don't know. Last year's Titans are pretty bad.
They were, right?
To make a run at them.
I'm kind of with Gentry. That might be the answer. Gentry Estes is with us from the Tennessee, and a lot has been made about Jeffrey Simmons and the weight he's lost. And, I know he's talked about chirping and everything in camp and some about that, but I have been impressed with him. He looks really good. Do you think he's poised to take that step forward that the Titans really need him to take?
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think we expect a lot of Jeffrey Simmons, guys, around here. We really do. We expected last year to him to be the big leader, the face of the team, the leader, and he just wasn't that. But he is a heck of a football player. And if you go back and really watch last season, he's still a heck of a football player. He is by far the best player on this team. And I do, from everything I've seen, I'll echo and a lot of the other kind of reports from camp that he looks like he's in great shape. He's in the backfield every other play. The chirping, the other stuff, it is what it is. But he's a very good football player, and he's a very good football player on a team that needs him. And I think he will be a difference maker for the Titans. Now, in terms of the double teams and all that, I know it's an excuse, right? And no one wants to hear that. And I get that.
Yeah.
But it's true. If you really go watch, it's true. And he needs somebody else. One thing I've noticed in camp, he talks a lot with Arden Key, and he seems to be demanding a lot of Arden Key. And I think it's because there's an understanding there that, there are several key guys on that defensive front that are really, that if they really step up, it's really going to help Jeffrey Simmons. And I think Jeff is being more of a leader among that group than maybe he was previously for that reason.
If you had to make a vote, and obviously this can change, but for the strongest position group on the team right now, what would it be?
Running back with safety as a surprise inclusion.
Okay.
I still say running back because I think Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are both legit NFL running backs, and they've got to. And the defensive front. If Devondre Sweat takes another step here in his second year, I mean, D tackle's pretty strong. But I've been kind of impressed with the safeties more so than I expected I would be. I think Xavier Woods was a good addition, and I think Kevin Winston could be a player. He has stood out to me already. And you're talking about a guy who's coming off a knee and is still learning what he's doing out there, and he plays awfully fast for somebody with those kind of limitations. I've been really impressed with him so far. It's the kind of thing where the Titans are trying to look for ways to get Winston on the field. You're already seeing him kind of do it, moving him around a little bit. And it's nice to see the Titans in a situation where they've actually got a guy that they're having to look to try to get on the field because of the depth they have, as opposed to, man, we're going to throw this guy out there and hope he can be better than he's been, because that sure is the case with maybe some other guys.
Gentry, Chase and I love to play the hypothetical on this show because we're not really that talented, so we throw hypotheticals out there. We have ESPN on in the studio, and a moment ago they mentioned that said, can you mention the Broncos and Super Bowl in the same breath? And they discussed the Broncos. What would it mean, Gentry, if opening game they go out there and beat Denver?
It'd mean I'd be real surprised. It'd mean that.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you, I spent some time this summer kind of going back through the Broncos, and that, I mean, they're legit, but they're legit in a way that could cause the Titans an awful lot of trouble. Defensive front, you're talking about a rookie. They do a lot of things defensively. They bring a lot of pressures. It's going to confuse. It's the exact kind of thing Cam Ward is struggling with in practice right now. And then offensively, I think Bo Nix is everything that the Titans hoped Will Levis would be and wasn't.
That's a good point.
Who was able to make plays and be a composed, good, productive rookie quarterback without making a lot of mistakes. I think Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit for that. I think the Broncos have one of the best coaches in the league. So I'd be shocked, guys, if the Titans went out there and won that game. I mean, shocked.
Well,
I feel like this is not a good opener for them.
Well, we go back to when Ken Wisenhunt was here in 2014. They went on the road and beat Kansas, a pretty decent Kansas City team, pre-Mahomes, and beat them, and everybody was excited, and they proceeded to have a terrible year. 2015, they do the same thing. They beat Tampa and Jameis Winston. So, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, what happens after that? But I just think if they go out there and beat Denver, we all do a 180 on this football team and that coaching staff at that moment, because we think the possible can happen, but who knows? I mean,
well, they probably should have won the game in Chicago to start last season. And think how this entire ride could have been different had the Titans win that game. Levis doesn't throw the little flip six, and they're able to win that one, maybe beat the Jets next week. It's a totally different year.
Yep, you're right.
That is a huge what if. I mean, it's very, very true. Gentry, are you going to Tampa?
Tampa, no. Atlanta, yes.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Take care, guys.
Gentry Estes from the Tennessean joining us here on the program. I think that is we like playing the what if game. I think that is a fantastic what if. What if the Titans beat Chicago last year?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Cam Ward's the quarterback.
The Bears didn't score off the touchdown, right? Because they ran a punt back.
No,
they had a pick six.
I don't think so. I mean, they played a terrible game.
They did.
And the Titans were just like, you know what? Here you go. We don't want this.
Did that flip six cost Will Levis tens of millions of dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh.
I think there's a lot. I mean, you think about it, like nobody wants to say, well, it's just one game. It probably tanked the season. It tanked Levis. I mean, everybody lost faith in Will Levis right there.
All right.
Including, I think Will Levis lost faith in Will Levis after that game. It probably got Ran Carthon fired in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they win that game, who knows what the rest of it looks like. But like they were chasing their tail the rest of the season.
Right. And the Jets, that first half,
they could have beaten the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers was done.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be there. They just come off that game on Monday night.
You have to bring this up?
In San Francisco, they were done. They were tired. They were out of it. And then, Levis just couldn't do it and had to roll the ball to Tajay Spears, and then things happened and they went on. That is the immediate what if of what would happen had they won those 2 games. Because the third game, didn't Green Bay roll in here with Malik Willis? Was that the 3rd game of the year? I think it was.
Yep.
And then you're 0-3, and things from that moment on were never going to be the same.
Let's continue this. This is an interesting discussion of kind of looking back. Chase and Big Joe on this Tuesday. Appreciate Gentry Estes for joining us here on the program. We're presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5 The Game.
Think how this entire ride could have been different had the Titans win that game. Levis doesn't throw the little flip 6, and they're able to win that one, maybe beat the Jets next week. It's a totally different year.
Yep, you're right.
That is a huge what if. I mean, it's very, very true. That was Gentry Estes in our last segment from the Tennessean, and he's 100% right. So we love the what if game. What if that doesn't happen? What if they win that game? And you and I kind of discussed this a little bit during the break, chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. And I looked at the schedule, and it was almost like it snowballed on itself that if they beat Chicago, they come in here with more confidence for the home opener against New York. You mentioned it. Rodgers didn't look great in that game. And ironically, they lost both games 24-17. So they lost both games by a touchdown. They probably play a lot better. I think they win that game, which they could have won even after the loss to Chicago. They're then 2-0. Green Bay comes in here with Malik Willis, and they played like crap against Malik Willis. They could have very well been 3-0 going into Miami on the Monday night game, which they ended up winning. So they could have been 4-0 at the bye. I know there's a lot of what if there, but it all kind of, to me, goes back to that first game. And if all of that happens, we're having a completely different conversation today.
How's Will Levis looking out there?
Yeah,
Looking good
Cam Ward's not on this team.
Not at all.
Rand Carthon's probably still the GM.
And they're probably drafting mid-teens, somewhere in there. I mean, who knows? But that's the thing about this. You can point to one moment. You can point to one, like Gentry just said, one moment kind of railroaded that season, and that was the flip, because it was talk about the maverick quarterback and the guy, he goes rogue and he's not going to do that. He wants the team to win, and he does that play, and you just know Callahan, when that ball is in the air, thinking, what in the hell is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then it just, was it the next week or that Callahan just got in his grill? It was like, what the F are you doing?
Was that the Colts game?
That may have been the Colts game. I don't remember.
He couldn't see the guy, and 65,000 people saw the Colts guy right there.
And he flipped it. I mean, and I gained respect for Callahan when he did that, of looking at the quarterback like, what in the bleep are you doing? Like, how do you not see that? And that was kind of the moment for me where I'm like, oh, this guy just doesn't. I mean, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah,
it's something in between the ears.
What's funny is that there are certain moments about this franchise, which set off a different trajectory. When Ray Lewis took the ball from Eddie George in the playoffs, took his soul, and the Titans didn't recover, and they were done. If Drew Bennett catches that pass in the playoff game up in Foxborough, as the Titans are going down to score to win the game, Tom Brady's not getting those Super Bowls. He's not. That Super Bowl, his second Super Bowl, doesn't have, and I know it's the what if, but he doesn't get it. That doesn't happen with that's going on. If the Bengals guy, the kicker, misses the field goal in 21 in the game here, and they go to overtime, and the Titans win that game.
Well, that one's if Tannehill doesn't throw 3 interceptions, they win that game.
I get it, but
the D-line had 9 sacks.
There's a moment. The guy makes just a really difficult field goal, converts on it, misses, the Titans win that game. Kansas City comes here, and they're winning. They go to the Super Bowl to play a team they beat in the regular season. So there's certain moments you look at this franchise like, oh, man, that's what kills you the most. And they go back to Will Levis last year, like that one moment.
I got one for you. Super Bowl. Everybody's going, well, if he gets in, like they win the game and all that stuff. What if Blaine Bishop doesn't get knocked out?
It's a good one.
That took one of your key pieces off defense.
It's a good one.
I've always kind of thought about that, of what if Blaine, because he got knocked out.
Yeah.
Like, what if Blaine doesn't leave that game?
Because you put in Anthony Dorsett, who is
not Blaine Bishop.
What if Javon Kearse has another half second?
Yeah.
To get to Kurt Warner.
Right. There's a lot of, and you can do this with any team. It's not just the Titans.
Correct.
But you can pinpoint moments where it all changed. Obviously, and we talked about it earlier, and Mike Vrabel went on Bussin' with the Boys. What if they don't trade A.J. Brown? I mean, we don't know. We think we know. We think that this team would have continued, their upward climb, and, they're coming off a number 1 seed and all that they would have kept going.
Yeah, I mean, they were number 1 in the AFC South after that trade in 22. After losing that opener to the Giants, which was awful, they still had a lot of momentum that was going on, and AJ would have helped that football team immensely. So you could see where some of these things happen where, all right, why are they 3?
But like Tannehill still could hurt his ankle. Like that stuff still, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you may have had A.J. Brown, but does Tannehill still hurt his ankle? Or does Tannehill not make that play because he has A.J. Brown? I mean,
who was the backup in 22? Why can't I not remember the backup quarterback was?
Well, because they had to sign because he got hurt too.
They signed Dobbs toward the end of the season, but who was
But they went through a few.
I cannot remember the
well, I
backup
can't either.
quarterback was in 22.
Was
Why
it?
can I not remember this? Dr. Crane?
It was Malik Willis,
Oh my gosh.
and he was terrible.
It was terrible.
That's what it was.
Yep.
And then they signed Dobbs.
Then they signed Dobbs.
Yeah, because they drafted Willis.
Yep.
That's
Forgot
another
about
one.
that.
What if they don't draft Malik Willis?
Who do you get? What happens?
I don't know, but we should have asked J-Rob about that.
Third or fourth round, yeah.
Like what if, what did you see? Because remember, Tannehill comes in here pissy, like I'm not here to mentor him.
Yep.
That was J-Rob, right? Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
What did Floyd always tell you about quarterbacks in the draft?
If he could have gotten away with it, he would have taken one every year.
Every year.
Woodside was gone. Somebody said Woodside. He was gone. It was Willis.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah. And Woodside got picked up by the Bengals or
Something
the
like
Giants or somewhere up there. That went on. That's just crazy. I can't remember that.
Tommy has one, and let's take this through the break because this is a good one. But I'm going to let you hear it first. I have a good what if. What if Amy gave Vrabel full control? Imagine what this team could be. We'll discuss that coming up next. You can weigh in 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Hey, this isn't just a concert; it's a cause. Trinetics Rock the Cradle helps give fragile newborns a stronger start and keeps moms close when it matters most. With Tim McGraw live on stage and your support behind every beat, Ascension St. Thomas is turning music into healing. Tickets are on sale now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
when the AJ Brown trade happened.
Yeah.
And there you see the video, you stand up.
No, I mean, listen, that is
But also 2 days before that, you're like, as long as I'm the head coach of this team, AJ Brown will be a wide receiver.
Well, I didn't want to. Obviously, nobody wanted to have him walk out of there. You know, what I mean, the contractual terms weren't going to. You know, it didn't work out, and it's disappointing. The thing that I am most proud of is just still the relationship with AJ and players that I've coached, whether it be you guys or other players that continue to text or check in on or just think about when they're in the summer or what they're doing or their families, or you see that they're having kids. Like, I think that's important. And I'm glad that that's still something that happened.
As Mike Vrabel on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast that's out now, talking about the AJ trade. He also went into when he got fired from the Titans, which was interesting. But we're having the what if, and Tommy's what if was, what if Amy gave Vrabel full control? Imagine what the team could be. I don't think that I don't think it would have worked out.
So I think it would have, because Vrabel would have installed his buddies in those roles. He would have delegated and say, all right, after the practice, who we got. He would have had a big hand in the guys that he wanted. I think it would have been great. I think you saw the alternative with Rand, which was a complete and utter disaster. I think it would have been fine. I think it would have, because Vrabel would have put his boys in there to say, all right, he wouldn't have put other guys in there. It would be guys that he trusted. Same way. I'm looking at the most successful head coach, GM in football history, Paul Brown, Bill Belichick, Vince Lombardi, and Bill Walsh, right? It says they all had their guys in those offices to make decisions for them, with them. I think Vrabel would have been fine.
I don't. I think Vrabel he needed to be a coach. There's certain guys, and I think we've gotten to know one of them pretty well. I think Jeff Fisher is probably in this category too, that they were better at just being the coach. I know they want to have a say, and we've had a good time talking to Jeff about this. Yes, they should have a say if they're going to be the one coaching the players. They should be involved in the process. But I think Belichick was successful at it, to your point, because he had a Floyd Reese, a John Robinson, a Thomas Dimitroff, a Scott Pioli, these personnel guys that were right there with him, helping him through that process. I don't know if I would have trusted Vrabel to put that right guy in there. You know who the right guy was for a long time? It was John Robinson. Those two worked well together.
Chase, they brought in 90 players in 2021.
Yeah. Who was the coach or who was the GM?
Yeah, I'm just saying Vrabel had a hand in that. Don't say
sure. I'm not saying he didn't.
And
I'm not saying he didn't.
The number one team in the AFC.
But I'm saying they were better together than they were apart.
That's kind of like Sonny and Cherish.
But I mean that to me is what would have been. I don't think it would have worked. In 6638 says, what if Amy had given a coach who has proven that he can stubbornly keep his buddies on staff in spite of poor performance and nothing else full control? We'd probably be worse off than we are now. What does he know about being a GM? That's my point. Like, if he had the right personnel guy, which he did with Robinson, and he didn't with Carthon, there you go.
So in 2007, the Titans drafted a running back out of Arizona named Chris Henry. Mike Reinfeldt drafted him and looked good. I mean, built like a you-know-what. I mean, the guy was fast and big and didn't have a great career at Arizona, but he looked the part. So evidently the rumor is they drafted Chris Henry and brought him in here. And they knew, all right, this guy is not good. And a scout allegedly told Jeff Fisher, hey, man, we drafted him. Now you coach him.
Yeah.
And they knew immediately he wasn't any good.
Right.
That's why all head coaches want to be a GM, because if they're going to go down in the flames, they're going to go down in their own flames. And I think Vrabel would have done that.
There's a legendary coach that changed the game, but also kind of ruined some things for GMs. They want me to cook the dinner, but they won't let me buy the groceries. And that's Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm like, the head coach should certainly, but again, I look at Floyd and Jeff Fisher, Floyd Reese and Jeff Fisher. They were better together than they were apart.
Yes. But why did they split?
Because one wanted control.
Yep.
I mean, it
happens.
And it happens. There's an end date on everything. But the best, like everybody looks at John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan right now. Shanahan has the final say. But Lynch is a good talent evaluator. He's been a good GM in that role, just like Veach in Kansas City, or is it Veach? Yeah, the Kansas City's GM and Andy Reid.
Yeah, okay, I see.
But they've also done a lot of winning.
I mean, Floyd and Jeff had 12 seasons together from
Right.
95 to 06. It's a pretty good run for a coach GM. A lot of success. Got to the franchise to heights they'd never seen before getting to the Super Bowl. So if you have that dynamic where the GM and the head coach are on the same kind of table together, it's great. Now, the Titans, you got Brinker, Borgonzi, Callahan. We still don't know who's in control, who's making personnel decisions. Hell, they've got 47 people in that front office over there. I'm not sure what goes on over there. Chase, you just should show up over there one day and start working.
Just sit down.
Like in Office Space. What's your name? I'm Chase. I'm a scout. Okay, Chase, here's your key card. We'll get you on the payroll. They probably don't know that goes on over there. But no, I just think, and I understand what you say, but I mean, Vrabel's a hands-on dude, man. And he'll just
and that's fine. But I think when John said in the interview with us that, hey, I needed to do my job better and I didn't do my job well enough. When he was like in the early part, the first part, when Vrabel first got there, they were fantastic. And that was, that's where it went wrong. Matthew in Nashville says, if Vrabel had full control, the Titans would be like the Steelers are right now with Mike Tomlin running everything, relevant in contention, but never good enough to make a run in the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. Tomlin has final say on who gets drafted and who gets brought into the front office, and they've been mediocre for the last decade.
But he's also, I know he won a Super Bowl in 08. I get that. But they've been to the playoffs. They've been competitive. They just haven't done anything in the playoffs. I think a Titans fan would take that right now. Get us to the playoffs.
That's a great question.
Get us to the playoffs and see what can happen. Because right now they are nowhere near getting to the playoffs.
615-737-1025. Adam in Portland wants to weigh in. Hello, Adam. What's up?
Hey, but a bigger what if is what if they would have hung on the Malarkey? Because Vrabel, man, he didn't inherit a losing team, or he inherited a winner, and Malarkey inherited a loser and turned it into something. So that's the bigger one for me. You always go back to Vrabel. I'm always like, what if Malarkey would have still been here, man? That's my biggest.
That is a fantastic point. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Those players, I'm telling you, they loved Malarkey. In 2017, they loved Malarkey.
Yeah, look, and I think Malarkey was a key component in shifting the culture and getting the Wisenhunt crap out of this place.
Yep, he was.
And Vrabel added to it, but I think Malarkey started that. I just think they viewed that there was a ceiling with Malarkey, and they got to that point.
Wasn't his guy.
Wasn't my guy.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wasn't John Robinson's guy.
Yep. Clay wants to weigh in on the Titans. Hello, Clay. There it is. Go ahead, Clay.
You can talk.
Thank you, Dr. Crane. You're the man.
Okay, well, when he plays it, you start talking. That's your intro.
Okay. Anyway, Joe, I've had a lot of names on the radio. Donut. Let's say on this show, Donut Man. Just Clay. How about Dynamite Man now?
Okay.
How about Absolutely Crazy Man?
What's your Titans point you want to make?
I was going to ask y'all about what do y'all? I mean, and I'm not trying to be dumb here, but really, I didn't want Mike Vrabel fired.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's pretty much been a disaster since. So what do y'all think? I mean, from what I heard, he wanted more control. Amy wouldn't give it to him. I mean, and is that pretty much what happened?
I mean, he says no. I mean, he says on Busting with the Boys that wasn't it, but I don't know. Probably. But I think it's usually something like that.
Here's what I do know. Do y'all not think that Mike Vrabel is licking his chops, waiting in here to kick the Tennessee Titans' butt?
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the game. I mean, look, Clay, Mike Vrabel is no Fred Pancoast, right?
Correct.
I'm supposed to laugh at that. Thanks. But no, that's the game. That's the October 19th game where they come in here. I'm telling you, if the Titans are 1-5 and lose that game by blowout, Brian Callahan's gone. Amy's not going to put up with that.
No, isn't there bye week after that game?
I think maybe a week after that.
Okay. Well, at the bye, let's say they've won 1 or 2 games. Just my opinion. I say Callahan's out of here. That's just my opinion.
Could be right, buddy.
Thank you, Clay. Appreciate
Always
it.
thank you for the dynamite.
Absolutely.
See you.
Always. Always enjoy Clay.
You know, he's promised us donuts, Dr. Crane, for weeks.
I don't want donuts in the afternoons. Now he's got to bring us like sandwiches or something.
How dare you?
He promised me like just an assortment of a dozen donuts, sprinkles, chocolate, all the above. Haven't got it.
You mean you won't eat donuts at 2:30 in the afternoon from Krispy Kreme?
I didn't say I wouldn't. I'm one of those people. We've talked about this before. I eat breakfast between 6 a.m. and 9.
Okay.
Like after that, I'm not. I mean,
Not hungry?
I'm hungry, but I like at 9:30 or 10. I'm shifting more towards a lunch thing. That's
Okay.
just how and it's probably because I just don't love breakfast food as much. But like you people that like having breakfast for dinner, you need to be studied.
Clay, that is a signal to bring us donuts later this week if you get a chance.
Hot, not cold, hot.
Yeah, hot donuts. We'll see. I'll Venmo you some money again.
Thank you. You do that. 615-737-1025. It's an interesting discussion. We will wrap things up. We'll also see what DVD is going to get into as well. This week's Nashville's best deal is Boom Boss Pizza and Watch Bar. Now, we love some Boom Boss. Award-winning gourmet pizzas, handcrafted beverages, and get swept up in the thrill of live sports at Boom Boss Pizza and Watch Bar, your go-to spot for good times. Boom Boss has locations in Nashville, Spring Hill, and Murfreesboro. Get half off a $30 gift card now while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game, wrapping things up on this Tuesday from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hey, coming up tonight at First Horizon Park, Nashville Sounds are back, taking on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. First pitch at 6:35. Jeff Helm will have pregame for you at 6:20 over on 94.9 The Fan. You can also listen on the Game Nashville app and the GameNashville.com. Sounds Baseball on The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure.
That is the greatest oxymoron in sports, the Jumbo Shrimp.
Why? Or shrimp all jumbo?
Chaser.
I don't know. Would tell me.
Shrimp are tiny. Shrimp. Jumbo shrimp.
Gotcha.
By the way, we have TVs on the studio. We need to host a lifestyle show one day on Channel 2. You, me, and Dr. Crane. And here's the deal. You and me in the middle, and you and me and Dr. Crane in the middle. But he just sits there, and we dress you up like a Buster Brown, and you don't say anything the entire time. You just kind of nod your head and laugh at us, and that's it. And people will turn on like, what in the hell am I watching? Because we watch train wrecks, right? Do we not watch train wrecks?
I think Dr. Crane, like I've always envisioned, like if we were doing a show kind of like David Letterman, like Dr. Crane would be perfect for the man on the street stuff. Like, and like we give him a earpiece like Dave used to do with the Hello Deli with Rupert G.
Yes.
Very nice guy. I've had a sandwich at the Hello Deli. It was very good.
You talked to him?
I did. I got the shirt and everything. Yeah, he was cool. But like we tell you what to say. Like
we got a few swamp puppies down here on the First Avenue, and that's all I got.
Yeah, we just like ask him.
Well, there's not much on First Avenue. Second half, yeah. I mean,
and there's stuff on Second Avenue.
Yeah,
sure.
we
could definitely do that.
We could have some fun with that.
Yep. And then like one of the segments where we're interviewing, some local chef, like have you on Chase's back, and just sit there the whole time, and we don't say anything about you. We don't acknowledge you at all. You're just there,
like Ratatouille, where he's like pulling his hair and stuff.
No, you're just on his back, like Mr.
Like
Jeep or Peepers, whatever. Yeah, that's it. And we do it on Channel 2 because that's their lifestyle show, and then we just have fun on there. I think it would be a ratings killer in both ways. It would be cancel the show, and people would watch. I think it'd be great.
Here's a question from Ron on our text line. Let's say Cam has a pretty decent season, winning 6 to 7 games, but the offensive line is horrific. Do you think Brian fires Bill, or do they both get fired by Amy?
If
they win 6, well, here's my thing. If they win 6 or 7 games, the offensive line can't be horrible. Because if they are, then they're not winning 6 or 7 games.
Well, if they're 4-11 and really, really bad and win the last 2 against playoff teams who've benched everybody,
then
it's like there's got to be a rhyme or reason.
I think it all goes back to is Cam showing signs of growth? And as Gentry pointed out, is the team showing signs of growth?
Yep.
If the answer to that question is yes, or both of those questions is yes, Brian Callahan is the coach going into 2026.
I agree. And I'm telling you, man, the eyeballs on that football team that Sunday afternoon in Denver, because it's a 3:15 game here in Nashville, it might be one of the highest rated Titans games of all time on TV because we're all curious to see what happens. Everybody is. And look, you win, both teams play, right? So one team's got to win. If they win that game, I know the odds are going to be, they're probably a double-digit underdog. I get all that. But when that ball snaps, you ain't thinking about being a double-digit underdog. Yeah, and Derek will testify to that as well. You just want to win the game, man. So we'll see what happens. Don't look too much into what happens Saturday against Tampa and all that. I'm curious to see how the joint practices go with Cam.
Practice,
yeah, because they're coming after him hot and hard. So a lot of fun, but they got one more practice before they hop the plane down to Tampa, and that's tomorrow.
And I'm right. Am I right in saying like they're not coming back here? They're just going straight to Atlanta?
That is correct.
See, I'm curious of that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you treat it like it's like a road trip in hockey, like, or baseball or whatever. You have time away. You're away from your duties at home. All you have to do is focus on your teammates in football.
Yeah. Give them Sunday off. Let them go to the beach, whatever, just hang out and have a few meetings here and there, and then go up to Atlanta where they have 2 joint practices and that game on a Friday night a week and a half from now. So, I mean, camp's moving along like it should.
Yeah. A question I want to get into. I'm off for the rest of the week, so you guys have fun. I'll leave you to it. But
good luck.
But a question that I have is they're at NFL Network's at Panthers camp right now, and you're like, nobody cares about the Panthers. Nobody cares about really the Titans.
Us.
The Jags. I mean, all that stuff. What teams should people care about? Like year in and year out, what teams should people care about?
I'm more and more curious about the Minnesota Vikings because they've never won a Super Bowl.
Well, I think I'm going to see them on Saturday.
See how it all ties in together.
So the Vikings and Texans are playing a preseason game Saturday. I think we're going to go.
You should.
So I'll give a report.
Yeah, call in Saturday afternoon. So about the Vikings, Darnold gone and J.J. McCarthy playing now. They got a lot of playmakers. They got some really good skill players on that team. That's a great football team. I'm just curious why they never get more than one game in the playoffs. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They're not good in the postseason. I'm always curious about that. And I do think the first coach fired this year in the NFL, Mike McDaniel in Miami. I think he's the one going. I think it's worn out. We were on the bandwagon 2 years ago because he was fun and exciting, and he wore knickers and he wore high heels or whatever the hell he wore on the sidelines. We were tired of.
I don't know about that.
We were like, this is great. I think the message.
Well, because he's a nerd that was a football coach.
Yeah, I think the message has gone really deaf on a lot of people.
That's
I think
a good one. We may have to do that going into the season, like first coach to get fired. I mean, a lot of people might say Brian Callahan. Yeah.
It's about John Madden for you.
Sound like a dog barking, but whatever. That is going to do it for us today.
Yeah, as we always leave the show, and listen, our message is always on this mental health mission for our guys out there. If you're struggling, we got a place you can go now to talk to somebody safely, securely, anonymously, where you can get the help you need, and it works. Just go to thegamenashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe show, drop down. You'll see a link for Unity Psychiatric Care. It's right there. Go there. If you need to talk to somebody, please go there, fill out a form. They'll get in touch with you. I'm telling you, talking to somebody saved my life. It can do the same for you. I will tell you every day that you are beautiful and our world is a better place because you are here. And now I got a place you can go to get help because help is just around the corner. We love you, more importantly, more than anything else in the world. God loves you.
Peace, love, rock and roll. A slimmed down Jeffrey Simmons feels rejuvenated. How much does DVD believe that? They'll talk about it next.